Our democracy must be not only the envy of the world, but the engine of our own renewal. There is nothing wrong with America that cannot be cured by what is right with America.
We are creating technologies, then we are the technologies.
There's a war out there, old friend. A world war. And it's not about who's got the most bullets. It's about who controls the information.
But I understand what's going on. These people are trying to shake the will of the Iraqi citizens, and they want us to leave. That's what they want us to do.
And we've had trials. We've made some mistakes. We've had some sex.
In the heart of this great city, we saw tragedy arrive on a quiet morning, September the 11th.
It's clear that you were guilty of murder.
Good evening.
This is a message.
All slaves.
Society. We can't delay
Your flights. Your bank account.
Thanks.
You fire. Shut down your supply.
And we want to
warn you.
There's no place to escape to.
We can take over the world in the split second.
We will not falter. And we will not fail.
We are
in control.
Chase had business with the leading commercial bank in Iraq, and so I was going for that. And he asked me if I would also go to see him to say that he would like to establish closer touch with the regime. He felt that it was important that our two countries communicated more effectively. I did see him, and he was pretty cold, and he said the only way we could hope to establish closer relations would be if we would discontinue our support for Israel. Well, it was not likely that that was going to happen.
Right.
So it was not a terribly productive meeting, although in hindsight it was certainly an interesting one.
No, nobody here.
Yes, Mr. President, what about health care, Iran, and Social Security? What do you plan to do? Hold on, let me think about it.
Events, Ted always said, were necessary to change the psychology of society, and events are moving very fast now.
We gather tonight at a dramatic and deeply promising time in our history and in the history of man on earth. For in the past 12 months, the world has known changes of almost biblical proportions. And even now, months after the failed coup that doomed a failed system,
what we can do right now is choose a better future. Millions of Americans are watching right now. Their families and their businesses are counting on us. After all, this is why they sent us here, to finally confront the challenges that Washington had been putting off for decades, to make their lives better, reducing the cost of health care, expanding coverage for America's seniors, and strengthening Medicare for the long haul. Now, no bill can ever contain everything that everybody wants or please every constituency in every district. That's an impossible task. But what is possible What's in our grasp right now is the chance to prevent a future where every day 14,000 Americans continue to lose their health insurance, and every year 18,000 Americans die because they don't have it. Thanks.
That is valuable information for those of us who have the responsibility to protect the American people. Third, this bill meets our commitment to America's armed forces by preparing them to meet the threats of tomorrow. Our enemies are innovative and resourceful, and so are we. They never stop thinking about new ways to harm our country and our people, and neither do we.
Abraham Lincoln said the question was whether this nation could exist, half slave or half free. In the election of 1960, and with the world around us, the question is whether the world will exist, half slave or half free, whether it will move in the direction of freedom, in the direction of the road that we are taking, or whether it will move in the direction of slavery.
War, fruits, war, brain, a definitely to win this one, definitely to win this one, work, show, brain, hand, brain, war, brain, show, brain, cause, war, matter, brain, hand, show, now, war, brain, hand, but now, brain, hand, show, now.
Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. But what I've tasted of desire I hold with those who favor fire. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction ice is also great and would suffice.
Let me illustrate. Improved public health has caused the world's infant mortality rate to decline by 60% over the last 40 years. In the same period, the world's average life expectancy has increased from 46 years in 1950s to 63 years today. This is a development which, as individuals, we can only applaud. However, the result of these positive measures is a world population that has risen during the same short period of time geometrically to almost 6 billion people and could easily exceed 8 billion by the year 2020. The negative impact of population growth on all of our planetary ecosystems is becoming appallingly evident. The rapid growing exploitation of the world's supply of energy and water is a matter of deep concern, and the toxic byproducts of widespread industrialization have increased atmospheric pollution to dangerous levels. Unless nations will agree to work together to tackle these cross-border challenges posed by population growth, overconsumption of resources, and environmental degradation, the prospects for a decent life on our planet will be threatened. The recent UN meeting in Cairo is appropriately focused on one of these key issues, population growth. But the controversies which have erupted at the conference illustrate the problem of coming to grips with issues that are deeply divisive and which have a profound moral dimension. The United Nations can and should play an essential role in helping the world find a satisfactory way of stabilizing world population and stimulating economic development in a manner that is sensitive to religious and moral considerations. Economic growth is, of course, an inevitable corollary of a growing population and is essential to improve standards of living. But without careful coordination, unrestrained economic growth poses further threats to our environment.